Hi, I'm Candace Clare with swansage.com, and today I'm going to show you how to prepare an enema, and then I'll have another video to show you how to actually do the enema process. So a really good place to start is with an organic green coffee enema. You want to be really careful that you get a good source. You don't want to just go to the grocery store and buy coffee, because often that has many contaminants and it's not really the right kind to be using as an enema. So I order an organic green coffee that is specific for enemas. I get it from a place, it's actually in Canada. It's sawilsons.com. And you just want to look for exactly this, the organic gold roast coffee. And they specialize in making the coffees they're very clean, and they're for the enemas. And I want to say a quick note before I make it. A lot of people are like, oh, won't coffee make me very agitated? Not when it's going in the other way. I personally cannot handle coffee. I get very jittery. But when you are doing it as an enema, what's happening with the green coffee is it gets absorbed in little capillaries in the lower part of your colon, and it goes directly to the liver, which signals something very good. It signals a detox. So your liver will start dumping as a detox. And I also understand that it helps you produce glutathione, which is one of the most important things that your liver produces for detoxification, and most of us don't really produce enough of that to keep up with what we need to these days. So I found the enemas very, very helpful in my own healing process. I do believe in colonics a couple of times a year. That's it's a deeper, little bit more invasive process, and it's not working exactly the same way that, say, a coffee enema is. So you can do these safely every day at home. The Gerson Institute in Mexico, which they do cancer treatments, they recommend to their cancer patients doing them up to 5 times a day. So my point is, you can do them. They don't interrupt your own peristalsis, so you don't have to worry about that. So how we're going to make it is, you start off with about a liter of water, and you pour that in. And with that, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make enough for 2 enemas. So I'm going to use 6 tablespoons of this green coffee. And let's see, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what I'll do, or what you will do when you're making it, is you bring it to a boil and then turn it down to a simmer and set your timer for 15 minutes. So we won't actually wait for that to happen, but what you will do is you'll have enough for 2 enemas. Sometimes it's nice just in case you have a mistake with it, or sometimes it's just nice to have one ready. So after you do that, you'll strain it. You'll get a strainer, and you want here's a better one. You want a fine strainer, something like this, and you want to obviously strain out the coffee grounds. So you'll strain it here, and then you'll reserve half and pour another half in a jar. Okay, so then now you're ready for your enema. So the liquid's very warm because it just came out of the stove, and you will fill up the water to come back to about 4 cups to a liter. And you can vary a little bit in there. So that will be your liquid for that. So again, you're bringing about half of it, and then filling the rest with water, saving the other. And then when you're ready to use the next one, you'll already have that. You can heat up some water to the right temperature, which basically you don't want to be too hot. You don't want to burn your insides, but you also don't want it to be cold. So you want it to be lukewarm. And but you can take the other, reserve it in the fridge if you don't use it yet. One other thing I'd like to mention when you're making it is please use either a filtered water. Make sure that it's filtering out like fluoride and the major contaminants if you're using a tap water. Ideally, you could use also a distilled water, or I happen to have upstairs in my bathroom, and I got it specifically for enemas, is a little machine that I can just put tap water in and it filters out everything, making it actually reverse osmosis water. So that's like a distilled water basically. So the point is, whichever one you use, make sure it's a clean filtered source. And so the only other thing I'd like to mention, and if you work with me, I can go into some other types of enemas. Sometimes if you just need to do a flush or clear yourself out before you make this, you can do a salt enema. And you would basically do the same thing. You could even use more water, and you could use, say if you were doing a liter, you'd use about a teaspoon of this salt, and you can also add a teaspoon of baking soda, and then you can use that just as an inner flush if you want to clear out. What you'd like to do with the coffee enemas is retain it, and we'll talk about that in the next video. Thank you.